joining us for FYI Friday. I'm Jessie. I'm the host, and we're at Joe's Quilting Studio. Alicia's back from her very super long holiday in Wyoming, so we can film some new videos just for you. Don't forget to subscribe, like. If you like all the stuff we're putting out there, leave us a comment. If you want to see something else, tell us what you want to see. I'll totally make a video for you. But today we've had quite a few people talk to us about squaring up your units or squaring up your quilt blocks and how do you do it. So today I'm going to talk about the tools that I personally use to do this. It's not the same tools that Joe uses to do it. And then how I use those tools and what are the benefits of why we want to do it. So here I have my half square triangles. And you guys remember a couple videos ago, I taught you how to iron those to the light side, to the dark side, pressing and open. Now we need to square these units up. And there's a reason why we need to do it. Have you ever put your heart and soul into a whole entire project, and then when you get to the end, and this is the bitter end where you are just waiting for this project just to be done, you want it to be done, and none of your blocks match? None of them. So you're easing in, you're pulling out, and you're like, I just want this project to be done. Well, part of that is probably because you didn't square your stuff up. So I have two examples here of a little sample that we made. So right here is some half square triangles that I put together, and I did not square those up. And as you can see, I have some overhang here and overhang there, and then I've got all the fraying, and look, my points don't meet here, and I've got stuff hanging over here, and it's just a mess. But look what happens. This one right here is the one that I did square up, and look at the end here. The one that wasn't squared up is almost a 1/4 inch bigger. So imagine if I had 20 of these in a row. Those 1/4 inches match up, and then all of a sudden you get to the end of your row and you're like 1 inch off on everything. But the other thing is look at this point here. It's about 1/8 of an inch off where this one right here meets. The only thing I have hanging off here is this thread, and that's a me thing. I didn't trim it, my bad. But look, all my points meet, my dog ears are gone, and it does look all neat and tidy. This one right here, I've got dog ears there, I've got fraying there, and nothing meets. So squaring off is a major step that you should take to make your blocks look better, but they also will then meet at the end. They will all match up, and your projects will go together a lot better. I'm not going to advocate for one ruler over another one. I am going to demonstrate with the one that I use. And like I said, maybe we can get Joe to make a video on the ruler that she uses. I don't know how to use that one. And personally, I like mine. So if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing, right? Hey, so we're going to break into our regularly scheduled FYI to bring you a great example on half square triangles look good together when you trim them all up. Unfortunately, it's a break-in and not part of the video because Nancy came to work a little late. But here's her great baby quilt. That is all half square triangles, and everything just lines up. Everything lines up. It looks great, phenomenal. She pressed everything over to one side and it just lines up. And you notice how she doesn't have any weird overhang over here. It all is very straight. There's no dog ears. So yeah, totally square up your units. So here I have my half square triangle blocks. So first thing I want to talk about is this block lock ruler. I like it. It's great. Block locks are only one size though. You have to buy the exact size. There's no going down, there's no going up. The other thing is the way block locks are designed is it has a channel right here. So if you pressed your seams open on your unit like we did right here, this won't work, okay? This is dependent on this hump on your unit. So let me show you how that works. You put it on and then you kind of push it like so, and it locks in. It locks into where that seam is from that hump. So to me, it makes it a little bit more complicated. I can't really adjust things the way that I want. I don't use it. I bought them. They're great. I put my little pink tag to mark it as mine, but I really don't use it. But some people live and swear and die by these things, but good for you. It just goes to the side. Now, Joanne uses the Tucker trimmer to square up all of her blocks, and she lives and dies, and this is her ride or die ruler right here. She uses it for all of the things. I don't know how it works. I really don't know because, well, I use a different one. You can always come into the store. We do carry this one in the store, and Joanne will totally stop everything that she's doing to show you how to use the Tucker trimmer for squaring up your blocks. She'll show you how. I use the Creative Grid. Now, I love the Creative Grid. It's got my black lines, it's got my white lines, it's got my non-skin on the back, and all of the rulers that come out now also have a QR code. So in case you hate the droning on of my voice, you can just scan that QR code in and it'll take you to a tutorial on how to do the exact thing that I'm gonna show you how to do. Can you use this long 4.5 by, I think it's 8.5 ruler to square up your blocks? You totally can. What we're looking for is this diagonal line. The diagonal line that's right here. Okay, you want to make sure that you have that. But for today's demonstration purposes, I've got 4.5-inch units, and I've got a 4.5-inch by 4.5-inch Creative Grid square ruler. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to look for my diagonal line right here, and I don't care where the outside of any of this is. I want my diagonal line, my black one, to line up on my seam line. And you see how it's a little bit off like that right there? So I'm just going to move it until it is bang on there. And like so. I'm going to hold tight. I'm going to hold all of my fingers within 1/4 inch all the way around. I don't want my fingers right here because you know what? I might like cut them off. You don't want to cut off your fingers. It hurts. Ask me how I know. I'll tell you in a later video. But you're going to hold all of your fingers there, open your cutter, and you're going to start down here on the bottom, trim up, and then come and trim around like so. Close your blade. And see, it's just a little sliver. Sometimes it's a little bit more. Then we're going to come back. We're going to use that same black line. And I am going to line it up so it's straight like so.
Line up on the edges that you cut.
And line up. Thank you, Alicia. Alicia said line up on the edges that you just cut and line up here. That's a fact. We're going to do it like that. And you're going to come on the right-hand side and trim, and then trim again, like so. And then that unit is done, and all your fraying's gone, all your dog edges are gone. Let me show you how that works on this one that we did an open seam with. Funny enough, it works the same way. I am going to line the black line up right here. And then and you do want to try and like move it up and down your seam line to make sure that all of your unit is underneath this ruler. Because if you go like this, and you've got like 1/4 inch here and 1/4 inch here, well, you're trimming your unit down even further. So make sure the whole unit is under that ruler, like so. Line up your black line, and starting on my left-hand side, I am going to trim, and then I'm going to trim the top. Close my blade, some more slivers, and then being careful to line up on my left and on my bottom, and then the black line again. Line all of that up, and like so. And there you go. And sometimes you may or you may not have anything to cut off. But when we get little stuff like this, I call it sliver trimming. And so many slivers throughout your whole project make a world of difference. Nobody likes to do it. Let's be honest. They're like, oh my God, I don't want to square it up. Listen, put a podcast on, get some good TV on. Like right now I'm watching Big Brother. Just have something to draw out, take like 20 or 30 units over and just go ahead and sliver trim them up. It is one of those habits that you do want to get into, because not having your units all the right size totally can make or break your project. And what happens is once you have these sliver trimmed up and then you go and put them together, well, everything meets because you know you have a 1/4 inch there. You know that your seam allowance is correct. You know all of your units are the exact same size. It totally saves your project. Again, nobody wants to do it, but it is one of those things that is totally going to help your projects look the best that they can. Now you know.